wanted to talk about something called ambien tonight. Ambien is a drug that helps you fall asleep. I've been prescribed this a couple times. Now, what you're supposed to do is take one of them and lay right down. Now, I would use this as a sleep aid, but the thing is, I wouldn't lay down and go to sleep right away, and I wouldn't always just take one like recommended. I'd stay up. These pills will definitely get high on them, and you definitely hallucinate if you fight sleep and stay up. What I do is sometimes take. You're not supposed to take more than 10. I would usually take 20 or 30 milligrams and stay up and put on my headphones and listen to music. Now, there were two occasions. The last time I ever took this was November of 2013. It was about 2.5 years ago. On two different occasions, including the last time I took this, I took 100 milligrams in one night. I did not mean to take 100 milligrams either time. The last time I did it, I remember seeing I had 10 pills left. I was like, oh, I'll just do, two or three of them, possibly four, maybe even up to five. But about when you get to 30 milligrams, you'll see the lawn gnomes. And they'll be doing stuff like, causing antics, playing with dump trucks. Now, when you see the lawn gnomes, they're definitely going to tell you to do more. And you don't want to do more, but I kind of listened to them and I did more. And, you know, I just remember when you're on this, you won't really remember anything. I remember, you know, almost, stumbling around, almost falling and bashing my head into the coffee table. But I actually, the last time I took this, I don't remember taking 100 milligrams. The only way I knew I took 100 was because before I took it, I had 10 pills left. And when I woke up, I had none. So, after I saw those lawn gnomes, I took about 70 milligrams that I don't remember. This all kind of started in 2010. I was prescribed it. And I was taking this every night more than I was supposed to. And I remember even getting scared, like, would I even be able to fall asleep without it? And I eventually, quit taking, got off it. Then about a year later, I started doing it again. Then about 2 years later, I started doing it again as well. This was a drug that I kind of fell in love with when I first started doing it. But one thing with Ambien, now this is one thing I promised myself I will never do again under no circumstances whatsoever. When I took that 100 in November, that's the last time I'm ever taking this. Because it's one thing you might start out like, oh, I'll just take a couple of them, but you kind of lose control of your mentality and what's going on. You won't remember, and it's completely something to avoid. And it got to the point of where like I said, you don't know how much you take, and it got to the point where it wasn't even really working anymore. I might fall asleep for an hour, but it's almost like you lucid dream when you're on it, and it's almost like you can astral project when you're on it. It all kind of started though the first time it came out of the ward, and I was having problems, sleeping at this time. I was in a relationship at the time. I really cared about this person, but I'm just looking back on it, I guess we were not that compatible for each other. She was a really cool chick, but it was just kind of a chaotic relationship, and I was very insecure at the time, and I worried about a lot of stuff, and it caused me to like lose sleep. So I was having problems sleeping, so they prescribed this. And but I think that's all I got to say about Ambien. And at least recreationally, this is something you should probably stay away from. and use it only as directed. But at the same time, all the big pharma and the big pharmaceutical companies can go to hell because all they do is produce pills that they brainwashing pills, and there's other agendas behind these pills, and they put things in these pills to brainwash you and numb you down. And the only reason I would ever even want to take a pharmaceutical is if you can get high off it and abuse it that way, because that's the only way I'd give a shit about, pharmaceuticals. And they tell me I should be on antidepressants and antipsychotics, but when I was on, these antidepressants, the first one I was on was Zoloft. And when I was on Zoloft, I constantly felt like I was starving. I felt like I'd eat 4 times the normal amount I did. And then they put me on Prozac, and Prozac damn near made me narcoleptic. I felt like I was going to fall asleep, constantly. And I just realized, I'm like, these pills, the side effects are so fucking severe for what all the stuff I have going on in my head. The better choice by far is to be unmedicated. Now, there is a medication out there that, can treat almost damn near everything, every problem going on. And it's a magic medicine. It's a magic medicine given to you by Mother Earth that grows naturally on Mother Earth. And the problem is, in most parts of the world, in a good chunk of parts of the world, even in this country, this plant's illegal. And it just makes me think, how much the cops and the DEA and big pharma hates Mother Earth. They hate the things growing on this earth. They don't want you to have this magic medicine because they want to dope you up on these fucking pills, brainwash you and dope you up so you won't fight back and you'll be numbed down on their bullshit fucking pharmaceuticals. Eventually we're going to see this magical plant legalized all over the world. I hope to see it legalized all over the world, sometime in my life. And that's not the only magical medicine out there. There's other things growing out there. There's something called psilocybin. It grows off of cow's fecal matter. I remember watching a video on YouTube also about LSD, and it was called LSD with Autism, a live experience. And they gave this guy who had autism, they gave him LSD, but they had to give him higher amounts, and it was almost like it was showing how it could be used medically. And this is another thing out there, they don't want you to use because it would replace a lot of pharmaceuticals. There's also, peyote, there's DMT. I haven't gotten to try either of those. One day I'm hoping to get a hold of some of those and give those a try. Trying to think if there's anything else I needed to say here. Sometimes my brain just, gets stuck and I'm losing the point of where I'm trying to get with what I'm talking. I have so many things I want to say before I start the video, but once I'm actually on camera, I forget about it. And you think about, the late 1960s and the counterculture, the revolution that was going on there. That revolution was based a lot upon, marijuana and psychedelics. And that's why people were so inspired to change the world back then, was because they were on what I want to call educational drugs. There was a lot of positivity drugs that open your pineal gland and open your third eye and make you see a little bit more clearly. Then later on, people got into cocaine and heroin and meth and, all that fucking bullshit. Now, those drugs, fuck those drugs. Those drugs do not, expand your mind. The drugs that I respect and think need to be legalized are the drugs that open your mind. And we have so many people, shooting up and falling out and doing heroin now, and I just don't fucking get that. Why the hell would someone quit smoking marijuana, a drug that expands your mind, to go to a drug that closes your mind? I just think that's fucking ridiculous. And I've never done cocaine before, but people who have done cocaine have told me, it's basically it's a good high, but it's only a 20-minute high, and I'm thinking, it's a very expensive drug, and you're spending all this money, and it's dangerous for a fucking 20-minute high. Now, I'm not necessarily, promoting heavy drug use, but when it comes to uppers, which from my experience, the one upper I have been on, I definitely love uppers more than I love downers. And amphetamines definitely last a lot longer. I thought it's kind of funny. They're like, I was high for 20 minutes. I'm like, you just wasted a bunch of money for a fucking 20-minute high. If like, you're going to do uppers, you could at least do amphetamines, and that's going to be like a fucking 20-minute, 20 minute. That's what I said about Coke. It's going to be like a fucking 12 to 24-hour high. But this is Timothy Manson on the subject of various bullshit brainwashing prescription drugs, eye opening drugs, and stupid dumbass drugs like heroin and meth and cocaine and all that dumb fucking shit. If you're even thinking about doing heroin, put that fucking shit down, put some cultivation in your grinder, grind it up, put it in your bowl and fucking smoke it. Fuck all that heavier shit. All you need is natural drugs, educational drugs, and mind expanding drugs. Fuck all the rest of that bullshit. See you later.